What's going on, YouTube family? Today we have an absolutely crazy video for you guys. Now, if you own a Cybertruck, unfortunately I have some bad news for you. GEICO is no longer insuring Cybertrucks. Now, this is not anything new when it comes to insurance companies stopping insurance on a vehicle. It's happened in the past, but there's a lot of reasons why, and that's what I want to discuss in this video, and how this could be a bigger problem for EVs going down the road, whether it's build cost, material costs, skilled labor, a lot of things to factor into this. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about how it's getting harder and harder to finance these EVs because a lot of banks don't want to deal with them because of the massive appreciation. So if you can't buy them, sell them, insure them, and loan against them, how are these cars going to keep up the resale value? So I think this is going to be an even harder blow coming down the road for all EVs across the board. So when I first heard that GEICO is no longer insuring Cybertrucks, I figured it was fake news or a joke or something like that online. But after a few days, I decided to call GEICO and give them a VIN number for a Cybertruck. And sure enough, they said they couldn't insure it in the state of Nevada. So then I started to ask them, what about other states? California, Texas, somewhere on the East Coast. And unfortunately, they said they couldn't give me that information, which I thought was pretty surprising. Now, this is not the only company to stop insuring EVs or the Cybertruck. A lot of insurance companies are actually pushing off EVs, or they're making your premiums so high that basically it's not even affordable and you'll go shopping somewhere else. Now, there's a lot of reasons why. Now, one, we talked about the depreciation so if I have to total out your car as an insurance company, and let's say you paid $130,000 on this car and you have gap and all this other stuff, I have to pay off that full $130,000. But if I take it to auction wrecked, I may only get $20,000, $30,000 out of it. So that's a pretty big gap. Now, only that is the fact of repairs. EVs get totaled out, I think it was like 8 out of 10 times in an accident, which was crazy. I mean, every time I've had a wrecked Tesla in my shop, I've only got to fix 2 in like 7 years because as soon as they get hit, they total them out. Now, the reason why is because the way the battery is structured. So obviously, if you get into a fender bender, you're going to get hit somewhere along, your running boards or your frame or your lower bumper or your lower rear bumper. Now, the downfall with that is that's the actual thing that holds your battery. So if you get any type of dent, even if you've seen my Tesla video where I cut the thing in half, that car was perfectly fine, had a very small dent, it would total it out. But also, if you watch that Tesla video, you'll see that as I cut the car in half, there's multiple layers of steel and aluminum surrounding that. So if you wanted to pull any of that stuff apart, you're talking about thousands, not hundreds, thousands of hours of peeling this thing open and going through it just to fix it, which more than likely is simply not worth it. So that's another reason why I believe they get totaled out. If you guys have seen the jokes about the Rivian dent, if you get a dent the size of my fist in a Rivian quarter panel, they will actually have to total out the car. Now, on a Mercedes like this G-Wagon, you could buy the outer skin, the side of the actual rail, the rear quarter panel, the door. You can buy all these parts individually. But with a Rivian, the whole entire quarter panel is the actual panel. So if you got to replace this, you're looking at about $30,000. So that's why every Rivian gets smacked in the back end, gets totaled out. So I believe Cybertruck, this is one of the reasons why I think that a lot of insurance companies either charge you a lot of money or they don't want to insure them because of the fact of the material costs. If you dent that stainless steel, you have to repair it, anything like that, it's going to cost a fortune to do so. On top of that, we have what's called skilled labor. Now, to get a body man that could weld, let's say, regular steel, it's common. Aluminum, a little bit harder. Stainless steel, polish work, stuff like that. It pretty much, these guys are very, very rare if they don't exist in your area. So now everybody that came out with these cars, that's where they're so hard to basically repair. I don't know if you guys remember, but the DeLorean, that was all stainless steel. And when people got into accidents with those, they were the same thing. They were getting totaled out because they could never get the fit and finish right after repairing the vehicle. On top of that, if anybody's had to ever order parts from Tesla, it is an absolute nightmare. So I couldn't imagine as an insurance adjuster trying to call them, hey, how much is this quarter panel? How much is this? And most places, like if you call GM and you have a brand new Corvette, I got hit in the rear end. I need a quarter panel, bumper, brackets, this, and give me a timeline. And they'll give you a timeline for everything. Tesla, don't know. Could be a week, could be a month, could be a year. Don't know. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of insurance companies don't want to hear because they don't want to get sued. They don't have to keep somebody in a rental car. So it's cheaper for them to just total out the car and not mess with it at all. But the downfall is now that you're starting to see this, the risk emblem on that car when it comes to insurance companies gets higher. And so that means that higher insurance premiums, more risk, and a lot of times they spread that across everybody else. Now, another thing that's going to affect Tesla insurance from going up and a lot of people actually getting their insurance canceled is the weight of the vehicle. Now, everybody knows if you're driving a big SUV, a heavy truck, something like that, As you're rolling and you go through an intersection, you hit a bunch of cars, you are going to do more damage. Basically, you're like a wrecking ball, where something like a Mini is like throwing a marble through the intersection. It may bounce off a few cars, but it's not going to cause a lot of damage compared to something like this with all the weight. But if you look at like a Model 3, even though it's the same size as a Honda Civic, it weighs a lot more, so it can do more damage as it has that rolling mass that hits it. Just about every full-size EV weighs quite a bit. The new Hummer SUV, that thing weighs 9,000 pounds. I can't remember if the Cybertruck is 8,000 or 7,000 pounds. Correct me in the comment section, but that's a lot of rolling mass that's going to stop. And then another thing that I heard was that supposedly when you get into an accident, it doesn't crumple like it's supposed to. The crumple zones are not that good, so there's going to be more damage to the persons, which is going to cause more bills for hospital repairs, stays, surgeries, stuff like that, rehab. That was the other things. Another one that I thought that was pretty hilarious, and you could find it, they're doing it in Russia. They won't do it here in the United States, but they're running over like dummies and dead pigs and hitting them with the Cybertruck, and it cuts them in half. So just imagine you're driving down there and you peel off the side of a stainless steel fender of a Cybertruck. That's like a blade. A stainless steel blade is just going to slice through. Now, remember when Tesla showed, oh, we can shoot bullets at it and you can do all this crazy stuff. It's tough. That's great. But what happens when that thing gets bent out and it starts slicing through stuff? It doesn't give. It doesn't wrinkle. Every car is designed to absorb the impact and dissipate it through the rest of the body so it doesn't destroy the person you hit or destroy you. The Cybertruck, what they're saying now is it's not built like that. It's too strong, it's too rigid, and so instead of bending, it's going to break. And then if you hit somebody, unfortunately, they're going to break or cut them in half. But it's absolutely insane. Now, I think that this trend is only going to make it worse when it comes to the resale of the vehicle. Now, another report came out just recently. You can go check it out on Reddit. I'll leave a link in the description below. People are saying that they've exercised all, 1 million options of people wanting to buy the Cybertrucks. And a lot of people are, they're basically sold out. They're all done, but people are not ordering them anymore. They're actually walking away from their order. I did. A lot of my friends did. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is just a Reddit post, but supposedly they exhausted the demand of the Cybertruck, and a lot of people are taking the let me just wait and see what the value goes down to approach. And I think that was one of the main reasons why they decided to make people sign this 1-year contract, because I believe that they were worried that once they got out in the real world, people would the novelty would wear off really quickly, and then they try to sell them, and now you got to worry about resale value. Now, when they were $60,000, $70,000, people were like, oh, that's going to be exciting. But now people are paying $110,000, $120,000, $130,000 for these things. It's just not worth it. I think that's why you see all these EV values dropping so quickly, is because whatever they drop to, I think that is the perceived value of the car. So if they're trying to charge you $150,000 for the Cybertruck, but everybody on the market is paying, anywhere from $75,000 to $95,000, that's probably the market of what it's going to be actually worth. So they need to figure out how can they bring the price down to make it affordable for the rest of the people. So this way it's a good deal. It's a better demand, because people are complaining that regular trucks are too expensive. So if you want to buy, like a Ford Lightning, there's tons of rebates. I think you can get them now for under 50 grand. I mean, there's tons of EVs out there, trucks that you can buy for cheaper. And if you decide to go gas, there's quite a few of them out there as well. So now we have this huge competition. I know Rivian is struggling, so they're starting to lower their prices. I think they were supposed to sell an additional 10,000 more cars this year. So they came really short of their actual goal. So I think they're going to get more aggressive when it comes to pricing. I know they're working with partnering up with Volkswagen, which I'll do a video here in a little bit. But all this does is spell more doom and gloom when it comes to the EV market. Now, I hate to be super negative, but as a dealer and as somebody that buys and sells these cars, I'm going to tell you flat out, I am not going to touch any EVs, because it's just like playing a hot potato. When the music stops, you don't want to be left holding the bag. And unfortunately, a lot of people are. As the values drop, as insurance goes up, Tesla started its own insurance program to help minimize some of that risk and to get people into these cars. And the fact that I think was the Model Y was the best-selling car of 2023. This year it's fallen short, and I think it's just the EVs are just not what they're cracked up to be. And I think people are so scared of paying $40,000 for this car, and next year it's being worth maybe $25,000 to $30,000. So I think a lot of people are going to do the wait and see approach to see what happens with insurance costs, with repair costs, also resale costs, because all these things are going to factor into average Americans wanting to buy these vehicles. Now, if you own a Cybertruck, if you enjoy it and you love it, that's fine. keep it. Also, chime in the comment section. Let me know, what are you paying for insurance? Do you have a good rep? Are you currently insured with GEICO? Have you heard of people getting kicked off their different insurance companies? Please share, because the whole purpose of this channel is to be transparent about the automotive industry. And the more you can share on this channel, the more it can help other people. And even if your opinion is different from mine, that's okay. We could still be friends. But like I said, the whole purpose of this channel is just to be transparent about the automotive industry. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Also, check out my SEMA Tesla build. I bought a 2022 Tesla Model 3. I cut it in half. I made it a two-door. I made a two-door roadster faster than Elon Musk. On top of that, I'm actually throwing in a 2JZ turbo on that car, and we're actually making a race drift car. So it's going to be absolutely crazy. So if you're in Vegas for SEMA, come check me out. I'll have a booth with Copart. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next video.